Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach. Today is Saturday, May 15th, and we have a very interesting NBA final weekend. So we are going to talk through this, strategize it, look at the possibilities of who's trying, who's not, who's sitting, who's playing. There are a lot of variables to discuss. We also have everybody that's playing tonight in all 6 games on the first night of a back-to-back because we are full entire roster of teams playing the final game of the season tomorrow. All 30 teams play. So we have 15 games to go over tomorrow. But tonight it's just 6. I should say today, because that's the other quirk in this NBA schedule, is 5 of these games are early afternoon and just 1 evening game. So not sure exactly why, but that's what they did. So we're going to talk through, basically the situation where the teams sit. We'll look at the spread. We'll take a look at, who's in and out for teams. What we're not going to go over is a lot of the statistical analysis of these teams for the season, because to talk about pace, defensive efficiency, all of the numbers that these teams have rolled up through the years is going to be very inconsistent, because some of the teams are going to have 5 different starters than they've had the majority of the season. Some may have a couple, and it's just all over the place. So I think by looking statistically at a lot of stuff here this weekend is an error, because it's going to give you skewed numbers. Again, the reason we feel we have such a massive edge here at DFS Coach Talk and why we invite all of you to join us is, these are the perfect kind of slates today and tomorrow that, talking through it, looking at the situation, understanding who the coaches are and what their tendencies are and how they manage their teams, all of those things really are more important than statistically looking through an optimizer and determining through that who to play, because there are so many intangibles here that can't take into account. So we're going to do it the way it's meant to be done, and the way that we feel is going to give us a massive edge on this slate. So appreciate you joining us on this Saturday. Hello to all our members out there that are listening in. We always have a weekly noon Eastern meeting with all of our members and go over subjects such as bankroll management, contest selection. Today we were scheduled to talk about, as far as which sites you play, what are the best contests to go in, and how do you prepare for those on the front side? What are some of the analysis that you look to as you start to narrow down your choices? So I tell you all that to let you know that we're not doing that this week, because we have this very strange oddity of all these 5 NBA games very early, but we will do that for next Saturday. So if you come aboard, we'd love to have you. You'll get that next Saturday as one of our members, and we'll do that with our whole group. A huge announcement today, and the most exciting thing, we have just released late last night our best offer of the year, and it's in honor of the NBA playoffs, and it is the NBA playoff package for Coach Talk. And it's only $111. So for $111, you get the entire NBA playoffs, which is May 22nd through July 22nd. So it's 2 full months of NBA Coach Talk. And remember, just because it's the NBA membership for the playoffs, you don't just get that. Whenever you join Coach Talk with any of our memberships, you get everything that we offer, all of our podcasts, all main chat Discord with all the sports that we're doing, all of our lineups, everything. So it is a wonderful deal. This is really our heart and soul is NBA. I mean, that's our main background, and we live for these playoffs. I've personally had really great success for 5 seasons in a row in the NBA playoff run. So very excited to offer that. Hope that we get a bunch of people jumping in. And all you have to do to sign up is go to dfscoachtalk.com, and you'll see, go to the memberships page. You'll see that offered the NBA playoff package. So we'd love to have you. All right, let's break this down, figure out what we're doing here, and see the teams that this matters to and the teams that it doesn't really matter to. So, and then we'll go through it from that standpoint. All right, the first game that I have listed here is Chicago and Brooklyn. Chicago and Brooklyn. Chicago's 30-40. This is a 1 p.m. Eastern game. Brooklyn's 46-24. So where does that put us with these two teams as far as the playoffs go? Chicago has been eliminated. They are done. They're out. And so this game means nothing to them today or tomorrow. Brooklyn, on the other hand, is a game and a half behind Philadelphia. So if they win these two and Philadelphia loses their last game tomorrow, Brooklyn would jump to first. So that is one thing to be aware of. So that, it does matter for Brooklyn. So that's a good thing to know. Now, it's a long shot. If they do happen to lose 2 games, Milwaukee is 1 behind them for third. So they certainly want to win today and then see what tomorrow brings. But I think that they're going to give some effort and get out there. All right, so for right now, the news is, and again, you have to follow this up until lock because it all changes immensely these next 2 days. Right now, Satoransky is questionable. Troy Brown and Daniel Tice are out. The starting lineup probable is Kobe White, Levine, Patrick Williams, Thaddeus Young, and Vukovic. So that's where they stand. The Brooklyn Nets are an 11.5-point favorite, and this is a 234 over-under. And for Brooklyn, Chioza's out. Harris is questionable. But look at this probable starting lineup. It's what we've been waiting for. Along with Griffin and Harris, if he plays. If he doesn't, we'll report who's starting in his behalf. But you got the 3 stars in there. Harden, Irving, and Durant are all playing. So they get this little 2-game weekend set to sharpen it up together as a group. So, how is that going to affect things? That is interesting. For me, this is really takes on a different situation here. Is Chicago going to scratch guys and sit them? Will we get that news is the question. As of now, they're playing people. Brooklyn with their 3 stars should, lay it on them. I think even if Chicago starts their regulars, I think they'll rotate quite a few of the bench players in there. This game should have a decent pace, and I think that Brooklyn should take care of it pretty easily, considering the circumstances. And it makes it very difficult because you have Harden, Irving, and Durant all priced extremely high because that's all come to play with everybody of those 3 missing at some point. So it's a hard spend, if you want to go up to one of those 3. As of now, I'm not really looking to do that. Now, if I did, it would, believe it or not, probably be James Harden. I know he was on a minutes restriction the last game. I did read some chatter from Harden and some of the Brooklyn, the Brooklyn beat writers posted, and he said he definitely wanted to play some additional minutes, get his legs about him, get his feel back. So, I think he could play 28 to 30 minutes, without any problem. And we know that's enough time for him to basically get a triple-double. So Harden is on my radar, and I think, we could probably get him at a decent ownership. Really, that's the only place I'm looking right now. Just don't trust the veterans and some of the other guys getting quite enough minutes for Chicago. So it's going to be a pretty thin early game for me. All right, let's talk about game 2, also 1 o'clock Eastern. It is the LA Lakers and the Indiana Pacers. Lakers are 40-30, Pacers are 33-37. So we've got two scenarios here. Lakers definitely want to win these two without question, because right now they're in the play-in tournament in 7th. They still can catch Portland, but they cannot catch the Mavericks. So Portland is a half a game ahead of them. So if Los Angeles can win out, they can jump out of this play-in event. So they're going to be trying to do that. Other than that, that's really all that matters to them. Golden State and Memphis are 2 games behind them, but they only have 1 to play, so that's over. So the Lakers are either going to be in the play-in in 7, or they could move up to 6 if they can win and Portland loses. So I think the Lakers play this one hard. Indiana is in the play-in tournament. They're locked into that. Right now they're in the 9th spot and 8th spot, tied for Charlotte. So they're tied dead even. And Washington's only a half a game behind them, and they still could catch Boston, who's 2 games ahead of them. So the bottom line is Indiana's trying to position themselves higher in that 7-10 play-in, which makes a huge difference, because it's a matter of having to win once to claim that 8th spot as compared to twice if you're lower. So they need these games, this weekend as well. So let's take a look at the guys that are out. We know Dudley is out. Marc Gasol and Kuzma are probable. Then we have the question marks, and it's everybody that matters. Caruso, AD, LeBron, Schroeder, and McKinney. All those guys are questionable. If they start all those guys and they do play, it'd be Schroeder, Pope, James, Davis, and Drummond, which is the lineup they're looking to roll with in the playoffs. So the question is, how important is this for the Lakers? You weigh 2 sides of it. 2 more days rest for AD and LeBron, and then just try to win through that play-in tournament and go from there? Or do they roll these guys out now this weekend and somehow try to jump Portland and get into the regular playoff spot at 6? So very interesting. I've got a feeling they're going to play their guys, but we haven't gotten that news yet. We'll be watching it all morning here very closely, and that will determine everything in this game. Indiana right now has Holiday, LeVert, and Sabonis as questionable, and Lamb, Sumner, and Turner out. So all kinds of craziness there. If LeVert plays, he'd probably start at the point. If not, we'd get McConnell again. Then Holiday, McDermott, and Brissett will probably be in there. Sabonis if he plays. If not, we may see Goga at center and a little bit of a center by committee. So tons of news that we need clarification on. But both teams do have motivation to win this. So whoever does end up in there, I don't think it's going to be just for, a little show for half the game and then rotate. I think they're going to suit up the guys they can, and those guys are going to go out and play. So as soon as I get that news, this game is going to have some serious action for me. I'm looking at, depending on obviously the news, at least 2 or 3 guys from this game. With the 228 total and the Lakers favored by 7, it just fits the criteria for me, if some of these guys sit. Now, if LeBron and AD do play, I would assume it'd be with specifically LeBron with some type of minutes restriction. So I probably won't go there. But lots of stuff, lots of possibilities. All right, we go with the third 1 o'clock game. So we have 3 games at 1 Eastern. And it's the Charlotte Hornets and the New York Knicks. It's only a 212 total. Slow ball from the Knicks for sure. Knicks are 5.5-point favorites. Let's look at this situation. Where do these teams sit? Now we have Charlotte square in the middle of a basically three-way tie for 8th, 9th, and 10th. They have qualified to be in that play-in tournament, but their positioning in that is going to be determined. So they definitely would like to win these games this weekend. The Knicks are solidified in the playoffs. They guaranteed that without having to go into the play-in game. But the difference between 6th, 5th, and 4th is still completely up for grabs. The Knicks and Miami are tied for 5-6, and Atlanta is a half a game ahead of them. So, certainly they're going to try to win these two games. They'd love to get that half game back from Atlanta and get up into the 4th spot. So there's the potential, to host that first round game, and then maybe depending on who wins and who loses, having another home game, home series as well. So Knicks are motivated to get it done as well. So interesting. We'll see how this completely plays out. But as of right now, it's not the most exciting game for the fact that Knicks are going to definitely slow down Charlotte. And, with Ball and Rozier specifically, you want to get to those guys. Also, all their guards are playing well too. They're getting it done, and they're sharing the ball. So not as ecstatic about Graham, Ball, and Rozier all getting shots again, but not getting as many because they're playing the Knicks. Right now, Bridges is questionable. Hayward out, Martin out, and that's Cody Martin. And for the Knicks, it looks like Rose is doubtful, Robinson out, and Ladoza out. So starting lineups would look like regular Peyton, Bullock, Barrett, Randall, Noel. How long do they play? We know Tibbs plays his guys, and it is pace up for them. So I could go to a Nick or two here. I think that would be more logical. On the Charlotte side, like I said, having Graham, Ball, and Rozier all shooting the ball pretty well makes it a little bit tough, especially against that defense. So I don't think I'm going to spend the money to go up to those guys. PJ Washington, Biyombo, if he starts, you can consider Washington, but he's going to have his hands full with Julius Randle. So really in this game, I prefer the Knicks, a couple of the Knicks in the pace-up situation. All right, now we have two o'clock Eastern games. The first one is Boston in Minnesota. Boston at 35-35, and Timberwolves at 22-48. And we know Jaylen Brown's out for the season, so that's a rough one. But let's see what does it mean to these two teams. Boston, as we said, is locked into this play-in tournament. They can't escape it. But they're 7th, which gives them an edge. They don't want to fall to 8th, 9th, or 10th. If they lost both games this weekend, they could be caught by all three teams, Charlotte, Indiana, and Washington. So they're definitely wanting to win either today or tomorrow and lock up that 7th spot. So they should be out there playing. Now you've got the tough team to figure, and I've talked a lot about them. Minnesota's been eliminated for quite some time, but they're playing darn good ball. They really are playing good ball. They're 6-2 in their last 8. And like I said, watching them play, they've sort of got this new rebirth of, hey, we're going to finish with all our guys, which we haven't had healthy most of the season, and we want to win and prove that we belong. So they've been rolling with a lineup of Rubio, Russell, Edwards, Vanderbilt, and Towns, and they've been beating people left and right. And I think they would like nothing more than to beat Boston today and the Dallas Mavericks tomorrow, finish out with 2 wins, and get up to 24 wins, feel good going into next season. They're going to get a top lottery pick anyway. They're going to be in that group where they could get first to seventh, whatever the case may be. And I really think that the small chances of picking one spot higher means a lot less to them than finishing out the season with a push. So these Minnesota guys are in play for me. I think Cat for sure, because Boston is just devastated inside. I mean, listen to these people out for Boston today. You've got Fournier and Tatum probable, but you have Marcus Smart, Tristan Thompson, Kemba Walker, and Robert Williams all out. So as of now, plugged in as the starting center for Boston is Luke Cornett. So Cat ought to have a field day if he gets the minutes. He's my buy-up center that I'm looking at in this game. I don't think Edwards or Russell are out of play either. It's odd, but it may blow out the opposite direction of what people think. I mean, Minnesota's a 4.5-point favorite, and I agree with that. I think Minnesota could lay one on Boston here. It is a 230.5 over/under, so it's very respectable in that sense. I mean, the probable lineup for Boston is Waters, Nesmith, Fournier, Tatum, and Cornett. So, man, Boston has just gotten through the blender in this injury stuff. So, I do like Minnesota. I'd like to have some strong exposure there. Definitely spend some of the salary. Boston side, there's some good value. I mean, do you want to roll with a Cornett? He can shoot the ball. He can score. The question is how many minutes. But they're so shorthanded at the bigs. I think he's a reasonable option. Paying up for Tatum is always, been a good idea recently. He's going to get a massive amount of usage for as long as they stay in the game and he's in there. Fournier is an option for sure, the way he's been shooting the ball, but he's very points dependent. And then, the two guards. I mean, do you go super cheap if you're doing stars and scrubs on this 5-game slate? Waters or Nesmith are possible. Nesmith's shown certainly, being part of the rotation now, even when they have their guys back, he's getting minutes. So he'll probably benefit the most. He'll see the probably, other than Tatum, will see the biggest bump in usage. So all options there. Certainly will have some good exposure in that game without question. All right, let's look at game 5 for the main slate. That 2:00 game, it's the Phoenix Suns 49-21 and San Antonio Spurs 33-37. So as far as the standings go, Phoenix is a full game and a half behind Utah and a full 2.5 in front of Denver. So worst Phoenix can finish is second. They would have to win both games against Utah or this weekend. Utah would have to lose their game tomorrow. If those two things happen, Phoenix would leapfrog them and finish first. Now, is that very likely? It's certainly possible. The question will be, is that going to affect Phoenix and who they play and how many minutes they play them? That's what we got to figure out. But here's the problem. San Antonio is locked into 10th. They're in the playoff, but they can't move from the 10 hole. So these two games this weekend mean absolutely nothing. So we talked about it all season. Dirk will weigh in. He knows it's the pop scenario with two games that make absolutely no difference for the Spurs. So what does he do? Does he keep some of his guys sharp? Does he rotate half of them? Does he sit them all? Good luck on that one. That's for sure. I don't trust his lineups. The fact that this game is an hour after the other ones, you build a lineup with him, some of his guys, boy, you better have an absolute escape clause to go to other guys because anything could happen. We really don't know. As far as injuries or question marks, we've got Rudy Gay doubtful, DeJounte Murray questionable. We know that DeRozan, Lyles, Pirtle, and Simoncic are out. So where does, it could be Drew Eubanks season again. Everybody likes to go bonkers with Drew Eubanks. Makes sense. You would think he'd get a majority of those minutes, but it's Pop and these games don't count. So, we have to make sure if you're going to do that, you feel really confident. We do not have that, confirmed news yet. Keldon Johnson, just way too risky. Lonnie Walker has taken these opportunities to step up, but again, I don't think his run is safe. So probably won't go anywhere with San Antonio except for the possibility, if I get confirmation that he's going to play good minutes, with Eubanks on the sites that you can use two centers like Yahoo and DraftKings. As far as the Phoenix side goes, like I say, I think they want to win this. They want to try to finish first. And, if they're going to have that chance on the last day of the season, they need to win this one. So they should take care of business pretty easily. I assume their regular starters, Paul, Booker, Bridges, and Crowder, except Ayton is a possibility of not playing. He's questionable. So if he sits, we'll see a couple of their backup bigs, Sarge, and a few guys get some minutes. And then we'll go from there. Johnson and Nader remain out. So it's tough, man. This, do you spend up for the Phoenix guys just, knowing this game could blow out so early? I more lean towards a guy like a Mikal Bridges, a good possible play, or Jay Crowder. I'm not going to spend up for Paul and Booker just because of the concern of the lopsidedness. So won't have a ton of exposure this game. I think it's just way too dangerous for sure. All right, we're also going to talk about this last game on the slate. It's a solo game we're going to cover here at Coach Talk. We'll give out the showdown lineups this evening. It's an 8 p.m. Eastern game, and it is Miami at Milwaukee. The Heat are 39-31. Milwaukee's 45-25. So for this late showdown game, what are these teams looking at? Well, we've got the Miami Heat sitting in the 5th spot, a half a game behind Atlanta, which they'd love to jump up to 4th for that home court piece. And then they're dead tied with the Knicks. So really 5 and 6 are tied. So this is going to matter a lot, these next two games, because they could finish 4th, feel much better about the matchups, get a home court series, or they could finish 5th or 6th. So they need both games. I think they go after it and play them. Now, Spoelstra's a little conservative, making sure his guys are ready for the playoffs. So need confirmation on his lineup and making sure that he is going to push with some of his main guys to win these last two. And that's not a guarantee. Milwaukee, on the other hand, cannot finish worse than 3rd, but they're only one game behind Brooklyn, and they do have some motivation to want to take that 2nd spot and have the matchups work out a little bit better for them in their path in the playoffs. So I do think that it's not like crazy important for Milwaukee, but I do think they want to win this weekend and try to move up that one spot. The nice part about it is it's the 2nd highest total on the board at 232, and Miami's a 2-point road favorite at Milwaukee. So very interesting lines there. And part of that is because we don't know exactly what these lineups are going to consist of. Right now, the probables for the 45 and 25 bucks are their regulars: Holiday, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Giannis, and Brook Lopez. But I expect that may change. We need to see what that news is going to be throughout the day. Again, we don't have to worry about including any of them on our main slate lineup from this afternoon. But, let's follow the news, confirm who's in, catch some coach speak and stuff, and see what Spoelstra and Coach Bud plan on doing. For Miami, Kendrick Nunn is questionable. And then other than that, the regulars, Robinson, Butler, Ariza, Adebayo, hopefully will be back in. We know Ariza had a twisted ankle. So let's follow these reports, and before we can pick anything in this game, we're going to have to go through those and see what the situation is. Also, if you're going to play some of those showdown slates, make sure you reserve your contests, because when people realize there's only one game tonight and they want to have some NBA DFS action, they are going to jump in these and fill some of the good tournaments. So you definitely want to have some access there. All right. That is the situation. Tomorrow is going to be a lot of fun. I'm on the podcast alone with all 30 teams playing. So we will do an abbreviated 15 game analysis, similar to today, maybe a little bit tighter so that it doesn't go forever, because it's going to be a lot of information to absorb, but we're going to do our best. Again, we're not shying from this weekend. We love this challenge. We feel we have an edge, and, we feel we can crush it both today and Sunday. So definitely stay in tune with us. Again, we have that special offer, the NBA playoff package. It's $111 for 2 months, May 22nd through July 22nd, the entire NBA playoffs, and you get everything that we offer at Coach Talk, all the basketball, baseball, and golf right now, all the lineups, you name it, you got it. So we'd love to have you join. If you're watching this on YouTube, do me a big favor. Please hit the thumbs up, smash that subscribe button so we get you here each day. And then the alarm alert button in the upper corner also will remind you when our podcast posts. We're doing 7-day-a-week NBA podcasts throughout the entire playoffs, so you don't want to miss any of that. We do some serious analysis of these games and series each day, so a terrific thing to follow us with. We also do a podcast on Wednesdays for the PGA, and we do lineups on Wednesday for the full tournament and Friday for the weekend only. And then once the NBA playoffs end, we're going to start some MLB podcasts to go along for the summer. So should be fun. A lot of winners, a lot of stuff to count on. Big key factor is, you can follow us on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. Andrew is at Language Olympic, and I'm at Joe Sarvadi, JoeSarvadi. And shoot us questions there. If you want to comment YouTube as well with any questions, we're checking everything, and we will get back with that answer as quickly as we can. So appreciate you listening in. It is a complicated weekend, but it's a weekend that we're going to make some money. We feel really good about it. We love our edge. So let's dive in and get after it. And then we'll be prepared for the playoffs next week. So thanks for tuning in. Appreciate all our listeners. Appreciate all our members. And definitely talk to you tomorrow when we go over all 15 games of the NBA slate. So can't wait to do it. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy all these great games, and absolutely make some money. Bringing it in, hand over fist, and then you'll be all loaded up for the playoffs. So look forward to catching you tomorrow as we look to crush it in NBA DFS.